Okay, now we will go on to the next topic about stiction. So after you do the etching, okay, so you want to dry the structure to finalize the release structure. Okay, for surface micromachining, when you after the releasing, the etching process, you release the structure, and then you want to dry out the etching, the water, the solution, and get out the final structure. The problem, the one serious problem will start to happen. There's we call a stiction. So we can take a look at this figure to understand the mechanism of a stiction occurring. So for example, you have a cantilever beam structure like this. You have a long one and the short one. Okay, these two. And this is the cross section of your cantilever beam. So after you take out the material under the cantilever beam, and you want to dry the etchant, actually have the water wash, okay? So you have only water retain onto the whole substrate. And then when you dry out the rest of the water, and then some water will retain under your cantilever beam. So during the drying process, if you have a long cantilever beam, the drying process will start to take down. Okay, so originally you have a long cantilever beam. You have water full of the cavity underneath the cantilever beam, and during the drying, because the cantilever beam is too long, so the tip part will be drawn down by the surface tension of the solution. So you got a thinner space on the tip part than the other part. So that means that the other part has a large space. So the evaporation will be faster. So the solution under this part can be carried away easily, and then retain a lot of solutions on the tip. And as the process is going on, the solution will evaporate away. So the tip will be drawn down by the surface tension further down, and then contact with the surface. Once the tip contact with the surface, some intermolecular force will start to interact with the cantilever and the surface, like hydrostatic force, like some kind of van der Waals force, or other covalent bonding force. Different kind of force will form. So when these forces start to form, so the tip will stick onto the surface permanently. So it never come out again. So in this case, the device will fail. Okay. But for shorter one, the story is different because you have a better stiffness, higher stiffness. So the drying will start from the outside, from the tip part, instead of the bottom part for the shorter beam, the more stiff beam. So if the tip part, the solution underneath is evaporated away, so tip will not get in contact with your bottom surface. So at the end of the process, all the solution will be evaporated away. In this case, the whole cantilever beam will survive. Okay? So it's different effect for the shorter beam and longer beam. Longer beam, surface tension will take down the tip. It's too soft. But for stiffer beam, shorter beam, it's stiffer. So the will not be taken down by surface tension. It's stronger than surface tension. So the vibration will come from the tip to the bottom boundary. So the cantilever beam can be survived. Okay. So this problem coming from the surface tension itself. So you want to make the longer beam also survive. You need to consider a different way. Okay. So in the lab, because it's coming from surface tension, so we are thinking how to try to reduce the surface tension during the process. Okay. So surface tension of water is quite strong, actually. So one way we can try to reduce the surface tension is by replace the water into different kind of solution. For example, like alcohol. Okay, alcohol has a much smaller surface tension. So you can, at the last step, you have water underneath. Then you put the whole structure inside alcohol, using alcohol to replace the water. You do this several times until next time you take it out and dry out the alcohol quickly. Because the alcohol has a less surface tension, so you can have a much longer beam survive inside this process. Okay, but remember, this process is usually combined with the heating process, because for heating, at a higher temperature, most of the material, most of the solvent, like a solution, like water, like alcohol, the surface also can be reduced at a higher temperature. So usually we'll combine 1 and 2 to using different solvent and then combine with the heating up and to evaporate the solution or the solvent as soon as possible. So in that case, we can preserve longer beam. But if you have an extremely long beam, the 1 and 2 still cannot make it work. Then you can consider other methods by using number 3, supercritical sublimation. The supercritical sublimation, the way is very interesting is by using carbon dioxide to replace water, then sublimate the carbon dioxide directly. When you're doing the sublimation 就是升华. That means the solution will go from maybe not sublimation, it's from liquid into the gas, but through the over the critical point. Over the critical point, that means the gas and liquid is no boundary. Okay, so in this case, surface tension won't happen. You get rid of surface tension. So in this case, the longer beam can survive. So we can look into the phase diagram of carbon dioxide to have some understanding. So here shows you the phase diagram. It's not in the it's not in your class notes. So maybe I will pass this out to you later on. Okay, maybe Venkatish can manage that. Mary is not here now. Okay, it's okay. I will send an email to you. So this is a phase diagram of a carbon dioxide. So so on the bottom here, okay, so the horizontal axis corresponding to the temperature, vertical corresponding to the pressure. So under different temperature and the pressure, the carbon dioxide can have different form. Okay, so on this part, the carbon dioxide is a vapor type. Vapor type means it's a gas type. Okay, so when you increase the at the same temperature, for example, 0 degrees C, increase the pressure up to this region, the carbon dioxide becomes liquid. Okay, if you reduce the temperature to this region, the carbon dioxide becomes solid. Okay, so it's easy to understand. And beyond some point, this point is a very interesting point. It's a critical point. The critical point means so from this line, you can differentiate between vapor and liquid. Bottom is vapor, up is liquid, right? But beyond this point, there is no difference between liquid and the gas. Okay, so that means there's no surface tension. So if you can do process beyond this, we call the critical point, do the process in this region, that means the liquid looks like a gas. That's the idea. So how to do that? So firstly, we are at the room temperature, the 20 degrees C, at the point A, there's our atmosphere condition. So at this condition, the carbon dioxide is still vapor type, right? So you put a device into a chamber and put a lot of carbon dioxide into the chamber. Then at the same temperature, you increase the pressure using high pressure to push the carbon dioxide into the top region. So carbon dioxide from A position into the B position, so the carbon dioxide become liquid. So when carbon dioxide becomes liquid, so liquid under the cantilever beam can be replaced by carbon dioxide because the temperature is still high, 20 degrees C. So the liquid underneath is still liquid. The water under the cantilever beam is still liquid. It's not solid. So it can be replaced by carbon dioxide, liquid carbon dioxide directly. After the replacement, then we increase the temperature from point B up to point D. So if we increase the temperature along this track, you will just pass the critical point. So when it passes the critical point up to D, this position, so the carbon dioxide, originally is liquid, is become a gas when they're beyond point C, up to the point D, they become gas. So there will be no surface tension underneath the cantilever, I mean the carbon dioxide. Then we try to drop the pressure. When we drop the pressure, the liquid gas, the mixer type of the carbon dioxide will become gas again. So will evaporate out of the bottom of the cantilever beam. So through this process, because it's over the critical point, so the liquid will not face the surface tension problem because it's beyond the critical point. Okay, so it's into the no surface tension area. Okay, so we can get rid of surface tension issues. So this process we call the supercritical process. Okay, so you need to have a chamber. The chamber can resist the high pressure. So see the pressure here is psi. So 1 atmosphere is 15 psi. So you need to pump up to like 300, 400 psi. That means it's like 10 atmosphere to 20 atmosphere. Okay. Yeah, so 10 times higher than the atmosphere, or 20 times higher, then going beyond the critical point, okay, to get rid of surface tension problem. So this we call it a supercritical process. So for a supercritical process, we can have a very long cantilever survive in this process. So this process also usually being adopted by the biological people, try to preserve their sample. If they want to visualize insects or like flies under the tear microscope, they want to take away the moisture, the water inside the insects. But at the same time, they want to also preserve the structure of the insects. So they will use this similar process to do that, using carbon dioxide to replace the water inside. Then evaporate the water without evaporate away the carbon dioxide without surface tension by using supercritical process. Okay. That's number 3. So in addition to the supercritical process, you also can consider using the surface treatment by using surface coating. The problem here is because if your surface is a hydrophilic surface, so you got the contact angle like this. So the solution loves the surface. Surface hydrophilic love the surface. So usually you will attract the surface. But if you surface treat with like hydrophobic material, so the surface will expel, don't like the water. So in this case, when you dry out the water won't take down the cantilever. Okay, get a stiction problem. Okay, this is another way. So by using surface treatment, by using hydrophobic treatment, for example, you can treat like using surface more layer. With the surface more layers, the structure, the functional group is like a fluorine on the surface or methyl groups on the surface. So those can give you a contact angle larger than 100, even 110 degree. So very hydrophobic. So in that case, you won't have this kind of attraction problem from the surface tension. So the surface will be expelled by the water. 就是那个水变赤水了，那个水就它不喜欢水的话，所以你干掉的时候，那个水不会抓住你的 cantilever 往下掉，所以把表面处理成疏水，这样了解吗？它不喜欢水，所以水干掉的时候不会抓着它下来。这样不会有 stiction 的 problem。这个是用第4个 surface treatment method。Okay, and some in the design level, you still can consider different way by using structure modification. Because this kind of surface problem is coming from the stiction of your tip to the bottom. So if you have a larger contact area, contact surface, that also will give you a large force. So if you can try to reduce the contact region, the area, they can reduce this problem as well. So that's why we can sharpen the tip. That's one method. I'll put some small structure under the tip, like a foot, small bit or something. So at this moment, you will have only very small area of contact. So you can have a lot more chance to recover the structure back. Okay, so this is by using the structure design. So sharpen the tip, make a tip contact area smaller, or using some kind of step structure underneath. Using bump, temporary supporting material as well. Okay, that's number 5. And another even better, different way, better way is by using a gas type releasing process, because all the processes are coming from the problem of subtension. Subtension coming from the process of a liquid or solvent process, or solution process. So if you can get rid of the liquid type etching process by using gas type etching process, there won't be any of these kind of problem. But however, for silicon etching, what can you do? Okay, by using the gas type. So one type of things people have done before is by using the hydrogen vapor, hydrofluoric vapor, hydrofluoric acid vapor. Hydrofluoric acid usually is kind of liquid. If you want this to form a vapor, you need to use nitrogen gas to bring up the hydrofluoric acid into the atmosphere and for etching. But this gas is vapor is very corrosive, so sometimes will highly damage your pump system. So not easy to use. So nobody is using this anymore, or not many people are using this anymore. So instead, people try to use the other one by using xenon difluoride. Xenon difluoride is a very special material, okay, special chemical. So this chemical in the atmosphere is like a crystal. So this crystal, when you lower down the pressure, this crystal can supplement to form gas. So when the gas contact with the silicon, the reaction can form some kind of a special chemical, silicon fluoride. So silicon fluoride is like a gas things, can be vacuumed away. So the whole process will be in the format of a gas process, no vapor or no liquid involved. Okay. So we in our school we do have this machine in the Nano System Center, Nano Science Center. So if you want to use this kind of process, you can send out your sample over there. But remember, this process is an isentropic process. That means the etching rate is the same for all the direction. So once you got a small hole here on the mask, and now you get a large hole underneath after the etching. So you need to consider how to do the compensation to reduce the original size of your mask, and now you get the final structure as your design. Okay, so you need to consider the compensation. Okay.